Forgiveness is a word heavy with emotional expectation. It often feels like a transaction. Someone wrongs us, we feel hurt, we struggle, and then we are supposed to offer a pardon, a verbal or emotional release that feels like a gift to the other person. But what if forgiveness operates on a different level entirely? What if it's less about an emotional exchange between two separate selves and more like adjusting the tuning on a radio? What if it's a resonance shift in the field of our own being, and because we are not truly separate, that shift inevitably alters the reflection everywhere? This is where the metaphor from the edge of our understanding can be helpful. In quantum physics, there's a phenomenon known as entanglement. Two particles can become linked in such a way that the state of one instantly influences the state of the other, no matter how vast the distance between them. They are no longer separate objects, but parts of a unified system. If we stretch this metaphor gently into the realm of consciousness, it suggests a radical idea. What if our minds, our hearts, our emotional fields are also entangled? What if the charge we hold about a person, the bitterness, the resentment, the story of being wronged, isn't just a private feeling in our own mental room, but a frequency we broadcast into a shared field? And what if releasing that charge doesn't just change our own internal weather, but subtly shifts the entire interconnected network? This reframes forgiveness from something we do for someone else to something we do within our own field. That person who hurt us is a mirror. In that mirror, we see a reflection of pain, of betrayal, of injustice. That reflection is real to us, but the charge, the burning anger, the cold resentment, the obsessive replaying of the story, that's our energy. That's our light, colored and bent by the distortion of the lens we are looking through. We are holding that mirror and we are pouring our own energy into keeping that particular painful reflection alive. Quantum forgiveness, in this sense, is the conscious decision to stop pouring that specific energy into that mirror. It's not about saying what they did was okay. It's not even necessarily about reconciliation. It's about withdrawing the charge, the emotional investment from the story of victimhood. When that charge is released, something happens to the reflection. It doesn't necessarily change the other person's behavior or make them apologize. That's not the point. The reflection in our own mind clears. The image of that person loses its emotional static. They may still be who they are, but they no longer have the power to hijack our inner state. The mirror is wiped clean, and because we are all connected in this field of consciousness, entangled, to say, if you will, this internal shift has a mysterious way of changing the external dynamic. Without a word being spoken, the old pattern loses its fuel. The dance of conflict can't continue if one partner stops moving to the old rhythm. The relationship may transform, or it may simply cease to be a source of active suffering. The clearing of one mirror can allow for new, unexpected reflections to appear. We can find seeds of this in ancient teachings. In the Lord's Prayer, the line, "Forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us," is often seen as a moral bargain. But what if it's a statement of entanglement? It's an acknowledgement that the state in which we hold others is the same state we inhabit. The mirror we hold for them is the mirror we live inside. To release them is to release ourselves from the same constricted frequency. The enlightened masters taught us forgiveness not as a virtuous duty, but as a practical tool for liberation from our own suffering. They planted the seed that the enemy, the offender, is the greatest teacher, for they show us where we are not free. To forgive is to reclaim that freedom, not to award a medal to the teacher. This kind of forgiveness is quiet, interior act of power. It happens in the heart's private chamber. It might look like consciously replacing a bitter thought with a wish for peace, even if it feels hollow at first. It might be writing a letter we never send, pouring all the charge into the page and then burning it, symbolically returning that energy to the light. It's the moment we catch ourselves retelling the old story and choose, just for that instant, to drop it and feel the raw sensation beneath, the hurt, the fear, without the narrative wrapper. Each time we do this, we drain a little more charge from the mirror. The result is not always a warm feeling of love for that other person. Sometimes it's simply a profound and spacious peace. It's the peace of an uncluttered inner landscape. It's the understanding that we are not powerless reactors to other people's actions, but conscious participants in a shared field. We can choose the frequency we emit, and when we choose to emit the frequency of release instead of the frequency of resentment, we aren't just healing an old wound, we are sending a subtle quantum correction through the entire web of connections. We are, in a very real sense, clearing our own reflection in every mirror, because all the mirrors were only ever reflecting the light we were giving them. And in that clear light, we might just see everything and everyone with new eyes.